Good morning to Dr. Lim and my fellow friends. Today, we from Group 3 will present to you one of the topics in the basic educational measurement and evaluation. Question given are list 5 learning outcomes that are best measured with selected response test item and list another 5 learning outcomes that are best measured with performance assessment methods such as project, oral presentation, interview and others. Give reasons to support your answer. Okay, I will explain to you about selected response test. Selected response test, or known as SRT, is an exam using multiple choice, true or false, matching, or any combination of these item types is called selected response test. It is composed of questions to which there is typically one best answer. Sometimes, SRT also refers as objective assessment. Students select their responses from alternatives we present to them. Tests are good for measuring student ability to remember, understand about the course concept and material, but it is hard to measure how them to conduct research, define a problem, create and organize. Okay, for the first learning outcome, the questions are taken from the Biology Form 4, Chapter 3, Movement of Substances Across the Plasma Membrane. This type of question is multiple choice question in rearrangement question form. Based on the question, students need to distinguish the movement of substances across the plasma membrane. As we know, there are 3 types of movement across the plasma membrane. The first one is active transport, the second one is passive transport, and the last one is osmosis. Based on this question, there are 4 statements given. Thus, student needs to choose which 2 statements that are fit about the osmosis. Which of the following is true about osmosis? The first statement is movement of water molecule from a region of higher water concentration to a region of lower water concentration. Second, the process requires chemical energy. Next, the process involves a semi-permeable membrane. And the last one is the process only occurs in non-living things. Based on this statement, there is only 2 statements that are matched about the osmosis. The answer is D, statement 1 and statement 3. It is because movement of water molecule from a region of higher water concentration to a region of lower water concentration, and the statement 3, the process involves a semi-permeable membrane, is matched with the osmosis concept. Thus, this type of question will measure student ability how to understand the course concept well and how to distinguish the movement of the substances across the plasma membrane.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Next, I will continue with the second learning outcome. I choose the topic from Biology Form 4, which is Chapter 6, Cell Division. The learning outcome are 6.1.1, describe cytokinesis, division cytoplasm. And then the second learning outcome is 6.2.2, arrange the stages of mitosis according to the sequence. For this learning outcome, the best measured selected response item that I choose is matching item. Okay. For the matching items, student is asked to match the items in the first column and the second column. Usually in the second column, there will be more items as options to make the task more difficult for the students. Matching items most often used to measure lower level knowledge such as concepts and classification. Next, we will see the instruction for the question. Select the best response from the column B and write its letter besides the question item in the box below. Okay, now we can see 5 questions given in the column A and 8 options are given in column B. The first question is cell division enabling growth to take place. You can write the answer in the answer column. So the answer for the question 1 is H, positive growth. And then the second question is last step in cell division. The last step in cell division is the E, telophase. Thread-like structure in the nucleus is, the answer is B, chromosomes. And the fourth question, at puberty, the female produces hormone known as estrogens, F. And the final question is, produces spindle in animal cells, which the answer is A, centrals. So, in matching item, students are allowed to cover more content in one question as they need to know the specific function of each and every option that are given in the answer column.
Okay, so hi, I am Nurul Fatihah Bt Zubir, so I will continue the next presentation. So the third learning outcome I took from Science Form 4, Chapter 2, which is Emergency Help, and the learning outcome is 2.1.1, which is state what CPR is and situations that require CPR. So the selected response test that I select is multiple binary choice item. So here is the example of question that I created by myself. So here is the stem given. For multiple binary choice item, it will provide stem, and the 3 star or dot here will present as new cluster for the okay. So the question below here will based on the stem given. Okay, so for example here, the stem is Adam saw a boy collapse at the field due to the heart attack. The boy did not have any response, breathing, and no beating heart or pulse. Then Adam performed a CPR, which he do pressure technique on the abdomen and exhalation into the victim's mouth. And the question based on the stem here is, first, is the CPR technique that Adams performed is true? So the answer is false because the pressure technique not on the abdomen. And the second one is heart attack is one of situation that need to perform CPR. So yeah, it's true because heart attack is the one of situation that need to perform CPR. And here the multiple binary choice item can let students not rely on memorize the information, but they need to answer the question based on the stem given. So student will need to think deeply what the answer for the question here.
Hi, my name is Aqilah binti Fauzi, and I will continue for the fourth learning outcome of the selected response test. I choose topic from Science Form 4, Chapter 5, Genetics. The learning outcome that I choose is the first one is type of mutations, and the second one explain the factors which cause gene mutations and chromosome mutation. There are two types of test that I choose is binary choice item, which is true false option, and for the second one is multiple choice question MCQ, which is direct question form. These are examples of question that I choose, and the first question, color blindness is caused by gene mutation. There are two options of the answer, which is true and false. And the second one is the what causes Down syndrome? Presence of three chromosomes at either A number 5, B number 21, and B number 9, and D number 23. So, this type of question, students must implement their basic knowledge that they have learned in school, what have teachers taught them, and apply it to this type of question.
Next, I will continue with the fifth learning outcome, the selected response test. So, I'm using multiple choice question in direct question form. I choose subject science form 5, chapter 3, environment sustainability, subtopic 3.2, environmental pollution, and the learning outcome is explain the types and causes of the environmental pollution. So, for this type of question, student will be given one question and also 4 to 5 alternatives. This alternative consists of one best answer and the rest are the distractors. So for the first question, what gases involved in the greenhouse effect? So based on the direct question form, students need to know what is greenhouse effect so that they can choose which one of these alternatives is the best answer. Same goes to question number 2. What are the good practices to conserve our environment? So student needs to know how to conserve the environment and relate with this type of question to choose the best answer.
So next is performance-based assessment. So we will see what is performance-based assessment. So it is known as alternative or authentic assessment, which is teacher will give tasks and student required to demonstrate by performing or producing something based on the task given. So PBA also needs some skills to be assessed by using PBA, such as critical thinking and also decision making skills. So next, the North Central Regional Educational Laboratory NCRL site, they said that performance assessment is the direct systematic observation of actual pupil performance and rating of that performance according to pre-established. So in simple way, we can say that PBA is one of assessment that require teacher to observe their students' performance, which needs some skills, concepts, and high order thinking skills on how they perform the task given. And teacher also will observe how their student transfer the knowledge that they gain into a new situation. So we will see the example of performance-based assessment. So first is demonstration, like experimental demonstration, or role play also can be demonstration. So next, presentation can be oral presentation, media presentation, and etc. Exhibition and fairs, and also debate. So here is the 5 LO based on the performance based assessment. So the first one I took from Science Form 4, Chapter 10, Chemicals in Medicine and Health. So the LO is 10.3.3, which is conduct experiments for study the factors that affect oxidation food. So the performance-based assessment, I'm using experimental demonstration and also media presentation. So for this online learning, so I think these experiments can do at home. So the students need to do in pairs. So they need to plan and conduct experiments on how slows down the oxidation process of apples by using salt, sugar, lemon or lemon juice, and also sodium bicarbonate. So while doing the experiment, they need to record a video, which is experimental demonstrations video, and also the video of presentation, which is what they observe from the experiment, and also they need to submit a lab report. So here we can observe, the teacher will observe how the students perform the experiment, what skills that they use, and these experiments also needs higher order thinking skills, which they need to plan and conduct the experiments by their own self. So teacher will observe them by watching their video, and also give some feedback at the end of the class.
For the second learning outcome, based on the performance assessment method, students need to design a science model related to the topic of respiration. This topic is taken from Biology Form 4, Chapter 7, Respiration. During the model planning, in a group of 5, students need to design or develop a model that related to respiration. Teachers will provide recycled bottles, balloons, glue, plastic, and pipe. Students will present their model to the class upon completion. Models are chosen as one of the performance assessment method because it will clearly show to students about the course concept in 3D ways. For example, this type of model shows about how the structure of lungs. These balloons are showing about both of our lungs. The pipe is showing about the structure of our trachea, and the bottle is showing how the intercostal muscles are. Thus, this type of model, based on the performance assessment method, is important to show to students so that students will clearly understand and see what are they learning.
So now I will continue for the third learning outcome of performance-based assessment. So I choose Science Form 4, also in Chapter 5, Genetics, but the learning outcome is 5.5.1, which is communicate about continuous variation and discontinuous variation. I designed one project task for my student, which is the task is number 1. In a group of 3, carry out an activities to define and differentiate between continuous variation and discontinuous variation, such as height, weight, tongue rolling, blood group, fingerprint, and eye color. The second one, the data must be collected from their classmates. The third one, draw a suitable graph for continuous variation and discontinuous variation. The fourth one is discuss about the importance of variation and present your data. So in this task, I ask my student to collect their data from their classmate, and from the data they collected, they must be represented in the graph. So students must be think what are suitable graph to represent their data, such as histogram, pictochart, pie chart. So they have to choose the correct and the most suitable graph in this task. And after they collected all their data, and they must present their data in the class in front of their students, in front of the students and in front of me. So, what are the benefits to students from performance-based assessment? As we know that nowadays we must be implement the 21st century learning in the classroom. There are a few characteristics of 21st century learning,
such as creativity, innovation, critical thinking, problem solving, communication, and collaboration. As we know that by using performance-based assessment, we will implement this characteristic in our learning, such as we are given tasks, we given project, we ask our students to do experiment, so they have to think. They must use critical thinking and they do their work in group, so they have mass collaboration, communication. So, what I mean is, performance-based assessment is good for 21st century learning. In other words, they can also improve students' soft skills such as communication skills when they do their work in group, and increase the teamwork, leadership, problem solving, and critical thinking.
Next learning outcome for performance-based assessment is I choose topic from Physics Form 4, Chapter 2, Force and Motion 1. The learning outcome is 2.5.2. Apply the principle of conservation of momentum in collision and explosion. The task given to the students is to construct a bottle rocket by applying the concept of conservation of momentum. So, this is the structure of the bottle rocket. This is just an idea. Okay. A pair of students need to design a rocket model accordance with the principle of conservation of momentum. Students will be given water bottles, newspaper, scissors, sellotapes, and foam tray to make their bottle rocket. Students can design their own model for the bottle rocket. This task is mainly to encourage students to come out with a creative invention by using bottle. After complete the task, students will launch their rockets and they will be able to present their understanding about the application of momentum. Thus, students can demonstrate the ability to apply the theory that they have learned in this chapter in a practical way. Thank you.
Next, I'm going to continue with the last learning outcome for the performance-based assessment. I'm choosing Subject Science Form 4, Chapter 6, Support, Movement and Growth, Learning Outcome 6.2.3, Explain the human growth patterns according to the diagram. The question is, in group, find information on human growth pattern and present your finding using Microsoft PowerPoint. So, student will be given a graph which is growth curve of a human. So, from this graph, student need to discuss with their teammate and find information about this graph. Not only that, they need to analyze the graph so that they can come out with a relationship between growth and time and make a conclusion. So, students need to plan on how to read the graph, analyze it, and compile their information. Not only that, they need to present their finding using Microsoft PowerPoint. The last part is differences between selected response test and performance-based assessment. Number 1, students need to select alternative response. As we know, from the task that is related to selected response test, which is multiple choice question, matching, binary item, and also multiple binary item, students need to choose only one best answer from the alternative given. While for performance-based assessment, students need to plan and perform tasks in authentic context. Authentic context here means students need to give their own idea or their own perspective about a certain task. Number 2, selected response test. Select a response, know what. When based assessment, perform, know how. Number 3, recalling lower order knowledge and skills. And for performance-based assessment, applying higher order knowledge and skills. So for this point, it is quite related to the revised Bloom taxonomy, where the three phases at the bottom is for selected response test, which is remember, understand, and apply. And for the performance-based assessment, we use the top three phases of the Bloom taxonomy, which is analyze, evaluate, and create. Last, knowledge is determined first, while in performance-based assessment, tasks are determined first. Okay, last, reference. Here we put some references that we use, and the main reference is the KSSM DSKP Science Form 4 and Form 5. I think that's all from us. Thank you.